2015, Jurassic World killed off Simon Masrani. The audience mourned him. Fan wikis called him kind, caring, and scrupulous. Screen Rant put him on their characters that didn't deserve to die list. Reddit threads overflow with people saying he was the one guy who actually gave a damn. TikTok is full of memorial edits mourning the character and the actor Irfan Khan, who passed away in 2020. And I get it. I do, but Simon Masrani is the most dangerous person on Isla Nublar. On this channel, we break down the stories movies are actually telling underneath the surface, so subscribe. And the story Jurassic World is telling about Masrani is one the fan community has almost entirely missed, because when you line up the dialogue and the body count, the man everybody mourns is the man who built the tomb. Here's the genetics lab after the ACU team has been slaughtered. Masrani confronts Wu at his desk.
Who authorized you to do this?
You did. Bigger. Scarier? Cooler, I believe is the word that you used in your memo.
That word, memo, not a hallway conversation, a written directive from the CEO of Masrani Global, ordering the creation of a new hybrid species. Wu doesn't let him run from it. His argument builds to a single line.
But you didn't ask for reality, you asked for more tea.
And Masrani's response,
I never asked for a monster.
Monster is a relative term. To a canary, a cat is a monster. We're just used to being the cat.
Wu is telling Masrani that the entire food chain makes him the apex, not the protector, the cat. That exchange is the thesis of the entire film, and almost nobody treats it that way. Today, we're going to follow the evidence from that memo all the way to Main Street, and by the end, the numbers are going to tell a story that Irfan Khan's charisma has been covering for a decade. One note before we start. This analytics focuses on the 2015 film and its official supplementary lore. Some details come from the canonical Masrani Global viral marketing website, which was built with Colin Trevorrow's involvement. The official site is no longer live, and some material is preserved through fan archives. I'll flag expanded universe material when it comes up. April 2012, 3 years before the events of the film, the Masrani Global marketing website contained a hidden backdoor terminal. The password was Indominus. Inside that terminal was an email from Simon Masrani to Henry Wu, and here's the relevant line. Henry, the board are unanimous in their desire for a new park attraction to satisfy our investors. Something bigger, scarier, cooler. You have my full authorization, Simon. His full authorization, a blank check from a CEO to his chief geneticist specifying the desired traits of a living organism. Bigger, scarier, and cooler. And according to the canonical timeline, after sending that email, Masrani did not return to Isla Nublar for 3 years. The multi-billion-dollar asset he ordered built grew from embryo to 40-foot apex predator without a single visit from the man who commissioned it. Now, some people will say that's just a busy CEO delegating to a trusted scientist, and okay, fair point, but the film makes the cost of that absence explicit. When Masrani finally confronts Wu in the lab, Wu tells him he is not at liberty to reveal the asset's genetic makeup. The CEO of the company and his own chief scientist can classify information above his clearance level. Masrani built the structure that locked him out. Then he tried to use his ignorance as a defense. The confrontation gets worse the closer you watch. Masrani doesn't engage with Wu's argument. He pivots to threats.
What you're doing here, what you have done.
The board will shut down this park, seize your work, everything you've built.
And Hammond won't be there to protect you this time.
Isolate the subordinate, threaten institutional consequences. Classic, but Wu refuses the frame.
You are acting like we are engaged in some kind of mad science, but we are doing what we have done from the beginning. Nothing in Jurassic World is natural.
The entire park is built on genetic modification. Masrani knew that when he wrote the memo. He knew it when he cashed the checks. The Indominus Rex was built to spec, Masrani's spec. Now, I do want to be careful. Wu and Hoskins were running a secret military program behind Masrani's back. We'll deal with that directly in part 4 because it's the strongest defense Masrani has. But even that defense has a major problem baked into it. The deception was only possible because Masrani designed a system with a single point of failure, himself. And then he removed himself from the equation for 3 years. When Masrani finally visits Paddock 11, the film gives him 5 separate warning signals about the Indominus Rex. He dismisses every single one. Claire tells him a handler nearly lost an arm. The others threaten to quit.
So she's intelligent then?
The observation glass is cracked from the creature trying to break through. Masrani points it out himself.
I like us for it.
Claire then asks if the exhibit will scare the kids, and Masrani's response,
The kids. This will give the parents nightmares.
Is that good?
It's fantastic.
So think about all that. He's not reacting to a warning from a subordinate. He's generating the danger assessment himself and celebrating it. The man identifies the threat, escalates it, and greets it with enthusiasm. Claire reveals the Indominus ate its own sibling. Masrani stares at her wide-eyed, then pivots. Cannibalism becomes a containment question. Even the asset's size catches him off guard. Claire tells him it's bigger than expected. That asset containment insisted they'd build the walls higher.
It's a good sign.
So every data point that should trigger a safety review registers as a proof of concept to him. The creature is dangerous, therefore it's marketable. And then there's the one moment that looks like self-awareness. Claire mentions having the best structural engineers in the world, and Masrani says,
So did Hammond.
he knows very well how Hammond's story ended. He says it out loud, and then he does absolutely nothing with that information. After the Indominus Rex escapes and kills the paddock workers, the control room scrambles. Vivian moves to issue a park-wide alert. Masrani personally intervenes.
Hang up that damn phone, please. Let asset containment capture it quietly. The very existence of this park is predicated on our ability to handle incidents like this. It was an eventuality, okay?
He's calling a dinosaur escape a foreseeable event he budgeted for, and his first instinct is brand management.
You should put that in the brochure. Eventually, one of these things will eat somebody.
And when Owens pushes back on sending the ACU team in with non-lethal weapons, Masrani puts a dollar figure on the calculation.
We have $26 million invested in that asset. We can't just kill it.
This man's gonna die.
And they did die. That's the CEO of the park, on screen, pricing an asset against human lives. After the ACU team gets massacred, Owens pushes for evacuation.
Evacuate the island.
We'd never reopen.
Owens explains the animal's behavior. It's seeing everything for the first time. It will kill everything that moves. Masrani's contribution, while 20,000 civilians are still packed onto Main Street because he suppressed the park-wide alert.
You think the animal is contemplating its own existence?
Then Owens proposes the tactical option, the M134 minigun from the armory, mounted on a helicopter.
We put it on a chopper and smoke this thing.
And Claire shuts him down.
We have families here. I'm not going to turn this place into some kind of a war zone.
You already have.
Remember, Masrani is in the room. He's the CEO. He has the full authority to override Claire and authorize lethal force. He says nothing. 20,000 people on Main Street stay right where they are. And remember that because it matters in about 90 seconds. Now here's where we do the math, because this is where the theory stops being interpretation and starts being arithmetic. Before Masrani's helicopter crash, the Indominus Rex had killed approximately 8 to 9 people, all of them employees, ACU soldiers and paddock workers in restricted jungle areas, but 0 civilians. A contained crisis. Terrifying, yeah, but a mass casualty event? Not just yet. Now, the helicopter. The film establishes Masrani's flying credentials early, and it does so with brutal comic precision. Claire expresses alarm that he's piloting,
I got my license.
and his flight instructor holds up 2 fingers.
2 more.
Well, 2 more tests.
His landing at Paddock 11 is so rough his flight instructor runs to the bushes and vomits.
Oh, he's just being dramatic.
Later, Masrani decides to personally pilot an armed helicopter to hunt the Indominus, and Vivian tries to stop him.
Sir, I can't get a hold of your instructor.
Never mind. He's likely caught up in the evacuation.
You sure there's nobody else who can fly a helicopter?
We don't need anyone else.
Okay, hold up. So, earlier in the film, Owen proposed exactly this mission, the M134 on a helicopter. Lethal force, take the Indominus out from the air. Claire shut him down, and Masrani, the one person with the authority to overrule her, said nothing. Now he's executing that same mission himself. Same helicopter and objective. Owen's proposal assumed a military-grade operation, and Masrani substituted himself. 2 days short of certification, no instructor in sight, flying a helicopter he'd nearly crashed on a clear day. He even frames it as heroism.
Did your boys serve in the armed forces?
Afghanistan, sir!
Did your general ever fly into battle with you?
That Afghanistan veteran died in the helicopter crash. Both ACU troopers did. no survivors. And the chain of causation is Masrani's helicopter chases the Indominus toward the aviary. The Indominus smashes through the aviary wall. The pteranodons swarm. They hit the helicopter. The troopers are all killed. Masrani loses control. The helicopter crashes through the aviary dome, creating a second massive breach, and explodes. The combined openings release the entire population of pteranodons and dimorphodons. They fly directly to Main Street, where 20,000 guests are still packed together because hours earlier, Masrani told Vivian to hang up the phone. The pterosaur attack on Main Street is the single deadliest event in the entire film. Civilians snatched, slammed, carried off. Zara Young, Claire's assistant, is grabbed by a pteranodon, tossed between multiple flying reptiles, dropped into the Mosasaurus lagoon, and devoured. Fan analysis compiled on the Jurassic Park wiki estimate the civilian death toll at approximately 250 people. Stack those numbers. The Indominus Rex, the creature the entire movie is named after, directly killed 8 or 9 people, all trained personnel and 0 civilians. But the pterosaur attack triggered by the aviary breach from Masrani's unlicensed helicopter crash killed an estimated 250 civilians on Main Street. The man who stayed silent when Owen proposed a professional military solution sent those families into the path of the only mass casualty event in the film, and he died before anyone could hold him accountable. The Legal Geeks, a legal analysis blog staffed by actual attorneys, concluded that the casualties from the pteranodons and dimorphodons would not have happened but for Masrani's helicopter crash. But I do want to acknowledge something that the defenders get right. The Indominus broke into the aviary first. The pterosaur swarm would have challenged any pilot, licensed or not. Those caveats are all real. But the chain of decisions that put that helicopter in that airspace belongs entirely to Masrani. He commissioned the creature. He stayed silent when the professional option was on the table. He flew an aircraft he was not certified to operate. Every link in that chain has his fingerprints on it. Now, this is the strongest case for Masrani, and I want to give it a full hearing, because it's real. Wu and Vic Hoskins were running a covert military program. They engineered the Indominus Rex as a bioweapon prototype. Raptor DNA for intelligence, cuttlefish genes for camouflage, tree frog DNA for thermal masking. They classified the full genome from everyone, Masrani and Claire included. Hoskins suggested the combat traits with the intent to market the animal to the military. Masrani authorized the theme park attraction. He received a weapon. His surprise at the creature's appearance is genuine.
Oh, it's white. Who told him it was white?
He was ignorant, and when Hoskins tried to sell him on using the Raptors as a military strike force, Masrani shuts him down cold.
Let me be as clear as I can. No velociraptors are going to be set loose on this island.
He rejected the militarization. He ordered Wu to cease all activities. He flew the helicopter himself rather than sending someone else to die. And his care for the animals reads as sincere.
Are the guests having fun? Are the animals enjoying life? So you do. You can see in their eyes, right?
And one moment the defense section would be dishonest to skip. When Masrani first arrives at Paddock 11, he tells Claire this.
I want you to bring him in. Let him inspect the paddock. Maybe he sees something we can't.
He brought Owen Grady in before the escape happened. He recognized the need for a second opinion from a behavioral expert. That's all real. Fans point to all of this and see a good man who was betrayed. And honestly, I don't know whether Masrani would have stopped the catastrophe if he'd survived the crash. The film doesn't tell us. We can't say for certain. But even the strongest version of this defense proves the prosecution's case. Every piece of it traces back to Masrani's own decisions. The moment Masrani's helicopter went down, Hoskins walks into the control room with InGen security. Lowery asks him who these people are, and Hoskins answers like a man who's been waiting.
Glad you asked. You're all relieved of duty. There's a new team on the ground.
A corporate coup. Hoskins seizes control, dismisses the staff, launches the Raptor field test he'd been planning all along. The disaster's final escalation happens because Masrani is dead. And why was that vacuum so easy to fill? Because Masrani built a corporate structure with no failsafe except himself. Hoskins operated under Masrani's corporate umbrella. InGen's security funding expanded to $225 million under Masrani's ownership. Masrani never supervised the man or his programs. Hoskins says it himself.
He's so diversified, he doesn't even know what he owns.
Masrani funded Hoskins, empowered him, and then he built a system where the only check on Hoskins' power was Masrani himself. a man who visited the island once in 3 years. The deception defense doesn't exonerate Masrani, it indicts his leadership. And remember, Wu told him as much. To a canary, a cat is a monster. Masrani built the cage. Masrani brought the cat. And Masrani left the island for 3 years without checking whether the door was locked. The film draws the Hammond parallel on purpose. Masrani wears an amber ring with a mosquito encased inside, a callback to Hammond's amber-topped cane. He built a Hammond statue in the Innovation Center. He quotes "spare no expense" like a scripture. And he invokes Hammond's dying wish to justify the entire park.
John Hammond entrusted me with his dying wish, and not once did he mention profit. Spare no expense, he used to say.
He delivers this line while telling Claire to stop talking about costs, while his park slaps a Verizon wireless sponsorship on a living bioweapon, while his investors listen to Claire pitch the Indominus as a revenue driver.
But consumers want them bigger, louder, more teeth.
Here's what I think the fan community has largely overlooked. By the end of The Lost World, Hammond has learned his lesson. He advocated leaving Isla Sorna as a nature preserve. He worked to pass the Gene Guard Act restricting de-extinction research. His final on-screen position was explicitly anti-park. Masrani claims Hammond asked him to build a new, bigger park. Even if that's true, Hammond never asked him to build the Indominus Rex. That was the memo. That was bigger, scarier, and cooler. Hammond built a park. Masrani built a world. Hammond used existing species. Masrani commissioned a hybrid designed to be more dangerous than nature ever produced. And he did it knowing how Hammond's story ended. He copied his predecessor's homework and failed the test. Hoskins is the obvious villain. Wu is the amoral scientist, the man who will build whatever you pay him to build, but Masrani is something more uncomfortable. He's the well-meaning CEO who believes his own idealistic rhetoric while presiding over exactly the exploitation that rhetoric denies. He says, "You can't put a price on that," while his company puts a price on literally everything. And there's one final detail that ties the whole film together. In the climax, when the Indominus Rex is about to kill everyone, it's Gray Mitchell, the kid who figures out the solution. He looks at the T-Rex. He counts.
We need more. What? Teeth. We need more teeth.
More teeth. The phrase from Masrani's memo, from Claire's investor pitch, from Wu's accusation. The words that started the disaster are the words that end it. A kid is literally doing the math Masrani never did. The audience cheers when Claire releases the T-Rex, but the film is making a point. The solution to more teeth is more teeth. The escalation never ends. The cycle Hammond tried to break, Masrani rebuilt and branded. Jurassicpedia wrote a line about Masrani's final moments, and I haven't been able to get it out of my head. He was plummeting to death in a vehicle he had bought, surrounded by animals he helped create, breaking through a structure his company designed, all in service of killing a creature he authorized for a park he owned. Everything around him existed because of his ambition and his money, and it all rose up to claim his life. The fan community mourns Masrani because Irfan Khan made him lovable, and that performance is genuinely brilliant. But the film is telling a different story. A man who wrote the memo, skipped the oversight, ignored the warnings, suppressed the alarms, and climbed into a helicopter he couldn't fly to fix the catastrophe his own signature created, and died before anyone could hold him responsible. Masrani asked for more teeth, and he got them. And then he asked to be remembered as the man who tried to stop them.
The key to a happy life is to accept you are never actually in control.
Spoken by the man who was supposed to be in control of everything. And thank you so much for watching, and click here where I prove the opening of Jurassic Park 3 is a lie, and the Spinosaurus was never responsible for the dinosaur boat attack. A lost, deleted scene changes everything.